Heist Above the Clouds, Sabotage in the Sky. High above the sulphurous swirling clouds of Venus, where the air was too acrid for any earthborn creature to survive, floated a city that was a testament to human ingenuity and defiance. This celestial metropolis, with its gleaming towers and sweeping arches, hovered serenely in the hostile atmosphere, a sparkling jewel suspended by the latest in anti-gravity technology. It was a place where airships darted between buildings like fish in a cosmic sea, and where every horizon promised a view of golden sunsets and the starlit void beyond. In the heart of this floating utopia, Cassidy Morrow tightened the straps on her utility belt, her green eyes reflecting the city lights that shone like distant stars. She was not drawn here by the beauty or the science, but by a fire of retribution burning in her chest. A former acrobat turned master thief, Cass's life had taken a leap of faith and fury when a mega-corporation bulldozed her family's life to the ground. Now, she stood ready with her crew, each member a story of defiance stitched into the fabric of this aerial heist. Eli Turner adjusted his tech-enhanced glasses, a sparkle of mischief in his thoughtful eyes. The engineer had once crafted marvels for the very elites they now planned to rob, his gifts twisted for corporate gains. Beside him, Luna Rodriguez checked her weapons, her blue eyes cold and steady. The former underground fighter was the muscle, her every scar a badge earned in battles fought in shadows deeper than those beneath their floating world. Mick Johansson, a gentleman thief with a taste for the finer injustices of the art world, surveyed the cityscape. His blue eyes were calculating, already tracing the paths they would soon navigate. And finally, Zoe Patel, the youngest, her fingers dancing over the screens as she breached firewalls and danced through digital defenses, her brown eyes alight with the thrill of the challenge. Together, they were more than thieves. They were reluctant heroes drawn to this floating marvel not just to steal, but to uncover a darkness lurking within these advanced bastions of humanity. As the city lived in peace above, unaware, the heist that could bring it all crashing down to the clouds below was about to begin. And with it, secrets long buried in the skies would soon come to light. Eli checked his watch, the soft green glow of the digital numbers indicating they had less than 3 minutes before the gravity manipulation device would reach its critical limit. He relayed this to Cass, his voice barely above a whisper through the comm link. Cass nodded, her green eyes scanning the final corridor that led to the central Nexus vault. It was guarded, predictably, by a state-of-the-art security panel and 2 armed guards stationed at the door. Cass signaled to Luna, who moved forward with a stealth that belied her combat-ready physique. With a swift, calculated motion, she deployed a smoke grenade, obscuring the corridor in a dense, sight-limiting fog. As the guards stumbled disoriented, Luna neutralized them with non-lethal precision. Meanwhile, Zoe slid into place beside the security panel, her fingers flying over her portable hacking device. Seconds ticked by perilously as she bypassed the security layers, each member of the crew tensed for any sign of additional threats. Once inside the vault, the gravity fields became even more erratic. Walls seemed to twist and floors undulated, a dizzying effect of the anti-gravity technology that protected the corporation's most valued secrets. Cass moved ahead, her former life as an acrobat allowing her to navigate the shifting terrain with an almost surreal grace. Mick stayed close, his eyes continuously scanning for unexpected anomalies in their environment and keeping an eye on the data they had intercepted. The vault itself was a marvel of engineering, designed to float at the center of the room without any visible supports, rotating slowly. At its core lay their target, a series of hard drives rumored to contain not only vast amounts of wealth, but encrypted files crucial to their mission. Files that could potentially expose the dark corporate conspiracy, threatening not just the city, but all who dwelled above the toxic clouds. Eli announced a 1-minute warning on their window as Zoe and Cass approached the floating vault. Using a combination of Eli's gravity-manipulating tech and Cass's precise movements, they synchronized their efforts to align perfectly with the vault's rotation. Cass leaped, a calculated jump aided by a brief manipulation of gravity, landing deftly on the vault. She quickly attached a portable decryptor, another piece of Zoe's handiwork, to the vault's access panel. As the decryptor worked through the encryption, the rest of the crew guarded the entry points, ready to repel any response from Cloudscape Inc. security forces. The tension was palpable, each second stretching infinitely as they awaited the signal that they had succeeded. Finally, the decryptor beeped softly, a successful infiltration. Cass grabbed the hard drives, securing them in her pack. As they retreated, the gravity manipulation device's effects wore off, signaling their time was up. They moved quickly, retracing their steps through the maze of the tower and out into the cityscape, where their escape route awaited. The heist had been executed flawlessly, but the true challenge would now begin. With the stolen data in hand, they had to uncover the truth hidden within while evading the grip of a corporation that would go to great lengths to keep its secrets buried in the clouds below. The air was tense as Cassidy and her crew navigated the labyrinth of the city's control center, a place swarming with security measures more intricate than any they had previously encountered. The heart of this floating utopia pulsed with electronic life, its walls lined with screens displaying streams of incomprehensible data. Cassidy's heart raced as she led her team deeper into the bowels of the technological behemoth they planned to rob. Their target had been the ultra-secure vault located in the deepest chamber, rumored to contain treasures and corporate secrets worth fortunes. As they approached the vault, Zoe, with her nimble fingers dancing over a portable hacking device, paused. Her brow furrowed under the glow of the screen. "Guys, you need to see this," she whispered, urgency cutting through her usually calm voice. The rest of the team crowded around her, watching as she accessed a hidden file buried within layers of security. The document opened, and Eli, with his technical expertise, quickly deciphered the complex corporate jargon. "It's a demolition plan," Eli explained, his voice barely a whisper. "They're planning to let the city fall into the clouds. It's scheduled to happen soon." The revelation struck them like a bolt of lightning. The heist, the thrill, the riches, all of it faded into insignificance. Cassidy felt the weight of hundreds of thousands of lives suddenly thrust upon her shoulders. They were no longer thieves. They had become the unwitting saviors of a city floating on the brink of annihilation. Luna clenched her fists, her fighter instinct kicking in. "We can't let this happen. We need to act now." Her eyes, fierce under the emergency lights, scanned the room for potential threats or further clues. Mick, ever the strategist, started outlining a rapid response. We need to secure this evidence and alert the city authorities without tipping off the corporation. Time is against us. Cassidy nodded, her mind racing through scenarios. Zoe, keep this file open and download every piece of evidence. Eli, we need a distraction. Something big enough to delay their plans, but not destructive. Luna, Mick with me. We're going to secure the perimeter. As the team sprang into action, each member performed their role with a newfound purpose. The heist had turned into a rescue mission. Cassidy, leading her crew with precision and urgency, knew the next few hours would determine the fate of an entire city. Above them, the serene skyline of the floating metropolis belied the chaos unfolding beneath its opulent veneer. As they moved, the city unknowingly hung in a delicate balance, a masterpiece of human achievement on the verge of a catastrophic fall. Cassidy dashed through the narrow service corridors that ran like veins through the underbelly of the floating city. Her breath came in short gasps, the sound nearly drowned out by the hum of gravity stabilizers that kept the city aloft. The acidic clouds swirled menacingly below, a visible reminder of the disaster that awaited if they failed. Ely, with his tech-enhanced glasses flashing codes and diagnostics, worked furiously on a portable console. He was bypassing the security locks on the city's mainframe, reprogramming it to neutralize the threat the corporation had covertly installed. His fingers danced over the holographic keyboard, each tap a step closer to averting a catastrophe. Luna stood guard, her sharp blue eyes scanning for any sign of the corporate enforcers. She clutched a stun baton, ready to defend their makeshift control center. Her heart raced, adrenaline flooding her system as she prepared for the confrontation she knew was coming. Meanwhile, Mikkel communicated with city officials through a secure line, his voice calm and persuasive. He relayed the crucial information they had uncovered about the corporate plot, ensuring the officials were covertly mobilized without alerting the wrong parties within their ranks. Zoe was deep in the network, her console lit with streams of data as she fought to stabilize the anti-gravity systems. The gravity core's readings flickered ominously, indicating just how close they were to a catastrophic failure. Her hands moved with practiced ease, rerouting power, stabilizing the anti-gravity field, ensuring the city would not plummet into the deadly clouds below. Together, they were a symphony of skill and determination, each playing their part in a desperate bid to save the city. Every second counted, each action could be the difference between survival and annihilation. As corporate enforcers finally breached their location, the crew was ready, their plan in motion, their resolve as firm as the city that hung in the sky. As the last wisps of steam dissipated from the labored engines of the city, calm settled over the floating metropolis. The public remained blissfully unaware of how close they had come to descending into the caustic clouds below, thanks to Cassidy and her eclectic crew. The authorities, now sifting through the debris of corporate deception, began their crackdown with vigor, guided by the evidence the crew had unearthed. High-ranking executives were escorted in cuffs, their futures as dim as the underbelly of the city they tried to doom. Cassidy watched from a shadowed alcove, the city lights reflecting a spectrum of hope across her sharp green eyes. The crew around her was a picture of quiet triumph. They had come together as fugitives, bound by a shared disdain for injustice, and were parting as legends in their own right, cloaked in anonymity. Each member took a moment to embrace, words unnecessary when their eyes spoke volumes of the battles they had endured together. As they dispersed, the weight of their achievements and the paths they forged anew was palpable in the brisk air. Cassidy turned to leave, a wry smile playing on her lips, knowing the winds of change had been irrevocably set in motion by their hands. In the shadows, they had danced with danger and emerged not just unscathed, but vindicated. The advice they'd unknowingly imparted was simple yet profound. Sometimes, standing against the tide, against the very currents designed to sweep you away, could anchor you more firmly than anything else. In seeking to save a city, they had found a deeper purpose, and perhaps the true measure of justice and heroism lay in the willingness to act, regardless of the shadows in which you stood. As the city continued to hum above the clouds, it carried with it the silent guardianship of those who now walked their own paths, forever altered by the city in the sky. The question remained, whispered in the corridors of power and back alleys alike. What would you dare to change, knowing the fall could be great, but the rise even greater?